Podcast Network Asia.
Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec Cuenca and I'm your host. And before anything else, welcome to the show. If this is your first time, then I hope that you enjoy this and you go check out the other amazing episodes because they have a lot of amazing insights that you can learn from. If this is your nth time listening to the podcast, then thank you so much for your support. I'm so happy that you're here because I know that if you're here, if you're listening right now, you are invested in self-improvement. You are invested in becoming 1% better every single day. And I'm just so happy to see you here right now to, talk to you guys about different topics, different strategies and tips and tricks that you can use in your life for you to live the life that you want to live. So, for today's episode, this is actually a continuation of the previous episode, which is all about grit. Okay. We now know that talent and intelligence, IQ, doesn't really predict success. Okay. It doesn't matter if you're the smartest in the room or if you're the most talented person in the room. If you don't have grit, if you don't have the combination of passion plus perseverance, you won't be successful or you won't see any personal achievement. We know that effort counts twice. Okay. So potential is one thing, but use potential, that unlocks a lot of opportunities for you. So I hope that you go check out the other episode about grit, okay, the basic foundation of grit, if you want to learn more about that. And for this episode, we are going to talk about how you could develop grit in your life. So let's dive right in. The first way to develop your grit, actually, all of this came from the book that Dr. Angela Duckworth wrote, Grit. And if you have not read it yet, the most staple books about self-improvement, and if you need to read that, one hell of a good book. So I recommend that you read this one. But let's try to talk about more of the things that she wrote there. So the first step to develop grit inside out is to first and foremost discover your interest. As we've said, if you want to see any personal achievement, you need to combine your skill plus your effort, or your skill times your effort. Okay. And if you want to develop your skill, you need to multiply your talent and your effort. And your talent basically is your strength. And how would you know your strength? How would you know your passion? It's to first and foremost discover your interest. Here's the thing. All of us have interests in life. We have different things that we're interested in that makes us happy, that makes us feel joy and peace. We're just excited to do this thing. We all have different interests. So the thing here is, can we figure out, can we discover? And I want all of us to emphasize on the word discover. It's not creating your interests. It's not finding your interests. It's discovering your interests. Because at this point, if you're listening to this podcast, then chances are your experience, your past, your society, your parents, your friends, they have all added up for certain interests that you already have. And it's now time for you to discover them. And in understanding or knowing or discovering your interests, you can now discover different strengths that can lead you to your passion. Okay? There's just one thing that I would like you to remember when you're trying to discover your interests. It doesn't need to make sense. As soon as you find your interest, it may be weird, it may be unique from your other friends' interests. It's okay. It doesn't need to make sense to others. It only needs to make sense to you. So as long as you know that it makes you happy, that you're excited to do it, that you're interested in it, it's okay. That's good enough. Okay? I didn't know why I'm interested in public speaking. I don't know why I'm interested in content creation. All I know is I'm interested at it. But if I kept on asking myself when I was starting my TikTok or my podcast, Why am I interested in it? Why am I doing this? Why am I interested in it? Isn't it weird? Not a lot of my friends do this. Not a lot of the people that I know are interested in this, but I am. I didn't care. Okay, I didn't give a fuck too much about whether it made sense to them or not. As long as I feel like, if I talk, if I communicate my thoughts, I'm happy. I enjoy doing these things. And turns out I have a lot of interests. Okay? You may be interested in basketball, just like I am. I'm interested in basketball. I'm interested in gaming. I'm interested in content creation. I'm interested in love and mindset and psychology, all of these different things. And it's okay. If you're interested in a lot of things, it's okay. You just have to discover which interests do you really want to try out. Okay? But one thing's for sure, you already have interests. Okay? What are the things that sparks joy? And here's an exercise that can help you out. You need to call a friend. Okay? Any friend that you trust, that you completely trust, okay? Someone who you know that he's your friend no matter what's going to happen, okay? You've been friend for this for a long time and you know that you can trust this person. So, I want you to call him, call her, and then you would ask them, "Why am I your friend? Why am I your friend?" And so once you do that, of course, at the start of a conversation, he might be startled and he will give you the basic answer. After he gives that, you need to ask again, but why? Why is that? And then he's going to give you another answer. And then you're going to ask again, why? You need to ask at least 4 times on why. And then you'll realize, if you get to that point, that he's going to give you a unique perspective on what makes you unique from his point of view. And you'll be surprised. Wow. So I'm like that. Right? That's what you think I am. And that's my impact that I give to you. And therefore, that's one of your strengths. And in learning your strengths, you can now figure out or derive what are the interests that can come out from that unique perspective. And sometimes it doesn't make sense. And it's okay. Right? And then you go ask another friend. And then you'll realize you do the same thing. You do the same exercise. And then you'll realize that we have different unique strengths, unique impact that we leave on other people. And we can combine them or derive from those unique perspective.
Yo, what's up? This is Real Talk Darbs. Join me as we talk about life, love, relationships, and hear me drop wisdom bombs on every talk. Do check me out in Wisdom Bars with Real Talk Darbs podcast. That's Wisdom Bars with Real Talk Darbs podcast, now part of Podcast Network Asia. Check me out. Yalla, bye.
What are we good at? What are our strengths? What are our interests? Okay? So other questions that you could ask yourself are, what do I like to think about? Where does my mind wander when I'm doing my job, when I'm doing my studies? Where does my mind wander? What do I really care about? What matters most to me? How do I enjoy spending my time? Right? And you would see, if you would know that all of these would connect to your values. What are the things that are important to you? What are the things that matter to you? And it doesn't need to make sense as long as you know, you discover what are those things, you can derive your interests in them. And that's your starting point. Here are some things. Once you learn that, what are your interests? The next thing that you need to do is to try those interests out. And here are my 3 rules for trying. The first one is trust your gut. Okay? You feel like you enjoy that. You feel like you like it. You feel like you want to do it. Go ahead. Trust your heart. Trust your gut. Sometimes your heart already knows what it wants. So just follow it. Go try it out. The second rule is try while you're scared. Try why you have all the reasons why you shouldn't, why you wouldn't. You will always feel scared. You will always second guess yourself. You will always have that hesitation. And that's okay. You can still try while you have those things. Try while you're scared. The third rule for trying is to try again, and then try another. If you try your interests and then you feel like it's not going anywhere, then it's okay to pivot. Allow yourself to make the change of plan, to try the other interests that you have. In the beginning, it's going to be messy. And most of the time, it's going to be trial and error. And that's okay. Discovering your interests, developing them into your passion, it takes time. It takes time. Back when I was a child, I was interested in public speaking, but it took me 7 to 10 years into learning that this is my passion. So that's okay, right? And I've tried a lot of things and I pivoted a lot of times, and that's okay, as long as you try. The second way to develop your grit is to deepen your interest with practice, through practice. Understand that excellence is mundane. Most of the time, excellence is just doing the same boring thing over and over and over again. It's the simplest things, it's the basic things, it's the fundamentals of what you're trying to do. So if you get bored, then that's okay. You're on the path. And here's the thing, a lot of people think that they need to be passionate about the thing that they're interested all the time. But what I've learned is that you can develop your interests by doing more of it, by practicing it over and over and over again. There were times that I didn't really think and feel that maybe podcasting is for me. But the more I do it, the more I feel like I could see progress, and therefore I'll become more confident, and therefore I'll become good at it. And if you enjoy it and you're good at it, that's basically your passion formula. Okay? That's your passion formula. So practice, and it will breed progress. And once you have progress, it will breed confidence. And who doesn't want to do the thing that they're enjoying and at the same time they're good at, right? You'd always want to see yourself grow. So if you see yourself developing through practice, then your interest will soon become your passion. The next way to develop grit is to develop your interests and your passion into your purpose. Nurture your interests or your vocation into a calling. There's a story that said, there's a man who asked, "What are you doing?" The first man said, "Well, I'm laying bricks on top of bricks." Okay. The second one says, "Well, I'm building a church." The third one, he said, "I'm expanding the church of God." So the first guy, he has a job, right? The second guy, he has a career, right? The third one, he has a calling. He has a purpose. So you might be thinking that your interest is in laying bricks, and then you might develop it into a career, right? You have a job and you might develop it into a career, and you might develop it into a calling. So a job is something that you're required to do. It's like breathing. A career is something that helps you for your next step, for your next life, prepares you for something. A calling is a purpose. It serves something bigger than you. So whatever your interests are, if you develop it into a passion, you can now turn it into your purpose. Your passion is a combination of what you're good at and what you enjoy doing. And if you use that to serve other people, that becomes your purpose in life. Now, if you want to develop grit, you need to develop your passion. But you need to understand that passion requires a little bit of discovery, followed by a lot of development, and then a lifetime of deepening. This will strengthen your passion. Okay, let me say that again. Passion requires a little bit of discovery, followed by a lot of development, and then a lifetime of deepening. Now, the fourth way to develop grit is nurturing hope. And this comes hand in hand with the first three: discovering your interests, developing through practice, deepening through purpose, or developing your purpose. Okay? This comes hand in hand with it. Because if you don't have hope, it's going to be a struggle for you. And I'm not talking about hope here like things are going to get better in the future. It might, but it's not about that. The hope that I'm saying here is that things may not get better, but you will. Okay? It's not on the sole concept of things will get better or things can be better. It's in believing that you can be better. So hope here pertains to believing that you can be better, that you can improve. So how do we nurture hope? The first one is adapt a growth mindset. Look at every opportunity as a learning opportunity. I always tell the people that I talk to, you live and you learn. It's one phrase that I heard from my good friend Julianne Ipapo, who also has a podcast, Journey with Julianne. Go check that out. And she said, you live and you learn. And I agree. If you do something and you're right, congrats. If you do something and it's not working out, then adjust. It's a learning experience. That nurtures hope that you can learn, you can grow, you can improve. So adapt a growth mindset. The second is practice optimistic self-talk. Drown that negative voice inside your mind and substitute or replace it with a positive self-talk attitude. You would always see the good in things, okay? You would always see how this is working for you. When you have this, you learn that life is happening for you, not to you. And then you'll nurture hope because you'll see that every hardship, every challenge and struggle that comes in your life, it's because it's helping you. So listen to the voice that talks negatively to yourself and then replace it with a positive one. The third one is ask for a helping hand. We're all in this together. We're all trying to figure it out. So if you want to nurture hope and you feel like you don't know what's going to happen next, ask for a friend. Ask for help. You'll see that there are a lot of people that will help you, that are open to helping you out. You just need to ask. So those are the different ways on how you could develop grit.
Hey, what's up? My name is Alton, and I'm pretty sure you're enjoying this podcast, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna enjoy mine as well. The name of my podcast is called Life on the Grow. If you want random book recommendations from a mediocre reader, that's me. More life advice, kinda, and a little bit of random conversations. Check out Life on the Grow on Spotify, and I'll be there waiting with a beer at hand, of course. Let's keep growing. Let's keep going. Now back to this awesome podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and share it with the people that you love. Share it on Instagram. Tag me at Small Talk Podcast or at Alec Cuenca. Share your insights, share your comments, share everything that you have in your mind, and share it with your friends as well. You guys are my oxygen. I love reading all of your comments. So please, please, please go check them out. And yeah, that's all for this episode. If you like this episode, go ahead. And if you're listening to Apple Podcasts, leave a rating and review there. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for showing up. Okay, my name is Alec Cuenca. This is Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. And I'll talk to you guys next episode. Bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia, the hosts of the program, or other programs of the network. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.